pretty to watch, but somehow, as O.J. touched on a while ago, much like Denver, they always seem to be there towards the end. They're a team that got off winning 7 in a row before they were blown away by San Francisco, 28-14 after winning those 7 in a row. Then the Rams promptly lost 4 of their next 6 before winning big against the 49ers 2 weeks ago in a game that we brought you, and last week over St. Louis would bring them to 11-4, and of course clinch the Western Division of the NFC. Ram cheerleaders as we are set to go. Lansford the kickoff. Bolton Walker back out there for the Raiders along with Sam Seal. The Raiders 23-3-1 on Monday Night Football. That is truly remarkable over the years. They have 2 timeouts remaining. Sam Seal from the 1-yard line. Seal out over the 30-yard line. Driven out of bounds there by Nolan Cromwell.
Well, this should be interesting in the second half, fellas. Both of these teams consider themselves quite macho. The Rams' philosophy is to wear you down running the football and take advantage in the fourth quarter. And we know the Raiders historically are a team that likes to beat on you and beat you in the fourth quarter. So we'll find out who's the most macho.
And right now, I'm not too sure I'd be very risky with the ball. The way Mark Wilson's been throwing, with the exception of that one long bomb, I think they'd be pressing their luck to be trying to open up the attack right now.
First and 10, the ball near the Raiders' 34-yard line. Wilson underneath. Incomplete to Marcus Allen. 31 seconds remaining in the half. Marcus does appear to be all right. Concern of getting that knee bumped, and he continues to play with it. It could develop into some swelling. Needs 13 total yards from scrimmage to break the record set by Eric Dickerson of a year ago. We were there on the night he did that. Second and 10. Wilson. This time it's Marcus Allen who holds on. Out over the 40-yard line to the 41. It's a gain of about 7. Irvin made the stop. Raiders have called timeout. Well, we have a moment. Let's go back and take a look at what happened yesterday in Kansas City. And speaking of records, there was one there. How about Stephon Page? Jim Benton's record of 303 yards set in 1945 with the Cleveland Rams has stood for years and years. And yesterday, Todd Blackledge tied up with Stephon Page. 309 receiving yards for the day. What an incredible day. Lionel James was also there, and the little train had himself quite a day. He set a new NFL record. Terry Metcalf back in 1975 had 2,464 all-purpose yards. Yesterday, the little train broke that record. Lionel James now 2,535 combined yards, as he had 241 yesterday against Kansas City. Our congratulations to both of them. And to Ken O'Brien of the Jets. He is the NFL passing champion for 1985. Third down and 3 for the Raiders. 18 seconds. Christensen is open, and does he hold on? Christensen to the 34-yard line, and he took quite a shot.
What's going to be interesting is that the ball went up in the air. He definitely let it go, but I don't know if it ever touched the ground. May have fell right back down on his chest.
We can see from the reverse angle. I think he went down. The ball fell right on his chest. Wilson got it in there. Christensen had to know he was going to really get hit. Anytime you're in that kind of a position, I'll tell you, that's a great effort. Oh, it's still there. It looks even more dramatic in slow motion. 25-yard pickup. I've seen him do that several times, many times in the end zone.
That's
great concentration. The Raiders now are out of timeouts. They have 8 seconds on the clock. And Chris Barr would be their field goal kicker. But I don't think we'll see him. Yes, here he comes.
Well, on his first attempt, Frank, he had plenty of distance, even though he missed it to the left.
Well, he has a career best of 55 yards, does Chris Barr, but that goes all the way back to 1979 when he was with Cincinnati. He will give it a try. It will be officially 51 yards. He is hit from 27 yards out. He missed from 49 in the first quarter. He's got this one nailed, and he's got the distance. So Chris Barr, with 3 seconds remaining in the half, unties this game. The Raiders take the lead once again. And credit that 3 points to Todd Christensen, who has already set an NFL record tonight, becoming the first receiver in this game ever to catch 80 or more passes in 3 consecutive years. And he made a dramatic one for us a moment ago. And he has just put one through the uprights from 52 yards out. Of the Barr brothers. Interesting crowd here tonight. It's almost equally split in terms of who they appear to be cheering for, the Raiders or the Rams. And it is the Rams' home field, of course. Here we go. Ron Brown is deep. They'll not give him an opportunity. And bringing it out is Sean Miller as time runs out here in the first half. No touchdowns involved. Raiders with a pair of field goals lead the Los Angeles Rams 6-3. We'll be back with our halftime highlights. We'll take a look ahead at the playoffs and talk about what we have covered for you this year when we return. In California, the Raiders 6, the Rams 3. Tonight's halftime is being brought to you by the U.S. Armed Forces. It's a great place to start. The playoffs are all wrapped up with the exception of home field in the AFC, and we'll find out about that tonight. Right now, here's action from yesterday. The Miami Dolphins have an unbelievable winning record at the Orange Bowl, and yesterday with the Buffalo Bills in town, the Dolphins were looking for yet another AFC Eastern Division title. Dan Marino is back on full stride, 30 touchdowns for the season. On this play, he looks for his big tight end, Bruce Hardy, who one-hands it at the goal line, a 19-yard touchdown. Miami out in front, 7-0. One of Marino's 2 marks, Duper, was ejected from yesterday's game, but there was still Clayton. And with the score still 7-0 in the second quarter, Marino is back and looking for Clayton. Clayton is there, and he spins back inside for a 23-yard pickup. That set up yet another first-half touchdown, and another touchdown pass for Dan Marino. Again, he's looking for Bruce Hardy. Out in the flat from 5 yards out, Hardy takes it in. Miami with a 14-0 lead. That was only in the first half. They went on to defeat Buffalo 28-0. The Dolphins finish at 12-4. They take a week off, and they meet the Cleveland Browns January the 4th. The Jets were at Giant Stadium in New Jersey yesterday looking for a wild card entry into the playoffs against the Cleveland Browns, who had already clinched the Central Division of the AFC. The Jets, Ken O'Brien back, fires over the middle. It looks like an interception by Don Rodgers, but Kurt Sohn strips the ball from Rodgers. He takes it 39 yards for a touchdown. The Jets in front 10-7. In the second quarter, the score tied at 10-10. Mark Gastineau with great athletic skill bulls into the man trying to block him, splits to the inside looking for Bernie Kosar. Kosar fumbles on the play. The Jets recovered at Cleveland's 13-yard line. And it's the last game of the season. Mark Gastineau just couldn't resist. No flag. And that set up another Jets touchdown. Watch number 60, Dan Alexander. He'll lead Johnny Hector into the end zone. 1 of 2 Hector touchdowns on the day. The Jets defeating Cleveland 37-10. Cleveland at 8-8 becomes the first team to win a division title without a winning record. Saturday for the Jets, they are at home for New England. The Denver Broncos at 11-5 after Friday night's win at Seattle needed a loss either by the Jets or New England to enter the playoffs. They got neither yesterday. Sullivan Stadium, Foxborough, Massachusetts. First quarter action, no score. Eason hands off to Craig James, up the middle, out to the left, 36 yards to set up a Patriots field goal. Cincinnati, who knew they were out of the playoffs before the kickoff, came back with a tying field goal. And still in the first quarter, Tony Eason, play action fake to James up the middle, looking deep. Stanley Morgan is there. He splits the defenders, 50 yards and a touchdown. New England in front, 10-3. Fourth quarter action, New England leading Cincinnati 27-16. There was a changing of the guard at Cincinnati this year. Boomer Esiason taking over from the veteran quarterback Kenny Anderson on 3rd down and 20. You see Esiason looking for the #1 draft pick out of the University of Miami, Eddie Brown. Brown is there down the sideline, a 44-yard pickup to set up a Bengal score that cut New England's lead to 27-23. But New England was not to be denied. On the very next series, 4th down and 1 at Cincinnati's 42-yard line, 2 minutes remaining in the game. Esiason hands off to Robert Weathers, number 24. He breaks through on the right side. He goes 42 yards for the clinching touchdown. New England defeats Cincinnati 34-23. And it was quite a comeback for New England after a tough loss to Miami only a week ago. They are in the playoffs. And let's take another look at the playoff picture. The wild card game will be this Saturday. It'll match New England at the New York Jets, Giants Stadium. Saturday, January the 4th at 12:30 Eastern Time, it'll be Cleveland at Miami. And then Sunday, January the 5th at 4 o'clock Eastern Time, the winner of the New England Jets game will move on and play the Los Angeles Raiders in Los Angeles.
We're not a company, but no company has more pride in what they do, or more pride in how well they do it. We offer you a meaningful and fulfilling future, one that goes far beyond the ordinary, one that brings with it the respect and admiration of Americans everywhere. We're not a company, we're your country. We're the Air Force, the Marines, the Army, the Navy. We're the Armed Forces. It's a great place to start.
Tuesday. Is this any way to run a business?
I don't believe this.
You think it's easy doing nothing all day?
Is that any way to be partners?
Scary being the object of so much desire.
Love.
Is this any way to have fun?
No.
Moonlighting.
Tomorrow.
Candlestick Park in San Francisco. Yesterday, the defending Super Bowl champion 49ers had to have a win over the Dallas Cowboys or they would be out of the playoffs. Second quarter action, it was looking rather bleak. Dallas leading 13-0. Montana back, good protection. He looks for number 87, Dwight Clark, who has hurt the Cowboys so many times in the past. 49 yards and a touchdown, and the Cowboys' lead is cut to 13-7. And what a season it's been for Roger Craig, doing what no other football player has ever done in the NFL, over 1,000 yards rushing and 1,000 yards receiving. With Dallas leading 16-10, Roger Craig takes it in from 4 yards out to give San Francisco the lead at 17-16. And from that point on, it was all San Francisco. The 49ers have a rookie of their own who's had a superb year. Jerry Rice, the #1 draft pick out of Mississippi Valley State, took it 15 yards on a reverse from Derek Harmon yesterday to put San Francisco in front 24-16. The 49ers going on to defeat Dallas 31-16. They enter the playoffs as a wild card. And a look at the National Football Conference playoffs. This Sunday, the wild card game will be San Francisco at the New York Giants, and that will be a chilly one. Saturday, January the 4th at 4 o'clock Eastern Time, it'll be Dallas at the Los Angeles Rams. And then Sunday, January the 5th at 12:30 Eastern Time, the wild card winner between San Francisco and New York will be in Chicago, where they'll take on the Chicago Bears. And you better believe that will be bear weather.
Okay, that's 4 McDLTs, 2 large fries, and a Diet Coke.
Right. Oh. It's hot. It's cool. Don't worry, I'll clean up.
McDonald's, where the refrigerator stocks up.
Oh, right over there? Oh, free. Oh, yeah.
All of us, not only just the three of us, but for all the people behind the scenes that bring you the games every Monday and occasionally Thursday, occasionally Friday, and occasionally Sunday, well, happy holidays to each and every one of you. We're going to talk just for a moment over this past year, and we were kicking around the idea of what has changed really in pro football, and what has changed dramatically for me has been defensive football in pro football. And maybe it all began with Buddy Ryan. He's been doing it for a lot of years with the Chicago Bears. But last year, it seemed like towards the end of the year, everyone started to do what the Bears were doing. Denver, of course, has been doing it, the Raiders for a long time. But now, no longer, if you're an offensive coordinator, can you just get Bill Walsh game fills and copy it down and put it in your offense. It doesn't work that way anymore. You've got to be prepared to make adjustments during the course of a game, and your game plan better be good when you put it together. Consequently, a lot of fun things have happened. We've seen a lot of great plays emerge, a lot of great defensive play. We've seen things like the refrigerator. It's been a tremendous year, I think, for pro football all around. And I want to turn to my newest member and colleague in the booth, Joe Namath. And Joe, your observation, first of all, about your first year up here. A little different you thought, I'll bet.
It certainly is, Frank. And starting from the Hall of Fame game and the job that people at the Hall of Fame did earlier this year was a magnificent year for me. I had the pleasure of seeing some of the finest football I've ever seen played with the Jets at Miami, with the Chicago Bears at Miami. And I'm just looking forward to these playoffs coming up now because the quality of football that's being played today is better than I've ever seen it before. And the fan enthusiasm around this country is what's really impressed me. That's the thing that I really missed, being away from the stadium. Being here, feeling the excitement of it all, it's grand, and I'm loving every minute of it.
You're really a kid at heart, aren't you?
Yes, sir.
We'll talk about the playoffs in a moment, but turning now to O.J. O.J., we've seen some incredible individual performance throughout the year. Any that really strikes a bell with you?
So many, you know, as Joe was saying, the excitement. You know, when I played, I thought there were about 5 guys in the game that could really excite me. I look at all these young players like Jerry Rice and, of course, that Gary Anderson. I can't wait till he gets fixed in that offense down in San Diego. And you look back east and see new stars like James Craig there in New England. Of course,
how about Craig James in New England? He plays there, too.
Yeah, Craig James in New England. And Roger Craig up in San Francisco. What he accomplished this year is I still can't believe 1,000 yards, both rushing and receiving. And, of course, a guy like Walter Payton who keeps on rolling on. You know, the guy goes 9 consecutive 100-yard games. It's been incredible to me.
And Marcus Allen has another half to play. Joe, want to speculate on Super Bowl contenders?
Yes, first of all, being from New York, basically, I'll be pulling for the New York teams. But right now, I think the best teams right now have to be Chicago, San Francisco, and these Los Angeles Rams in the NFC. Dan Marino's playing better football than he's ever played, according to Coach Don Shula. And if Mark Wilson ever gets hot, the Raiders could win the Super Bowl. So those are the 5 teams I like right now.
O.J., we have half a second. Who do you like to take it off?
Okay, I think Chicago's the team to beat in the NFC, even though the only team capable of beating them are the 49ers, and they got to get through the Giants. And in the AFC, I got to go with the Raiders because they have a history of beating Miami, and it looks as if Miami may have to come here.
If it ever happened to be the Jets and the Giants, Broadway would be back once again, wouldn't it? Could happen. We'll see. We'll be back. Second half kickoff, the Rams and the Raiders from Anaheim, California.
Wednesday on Dynasty.
If there is filth being spread, you're spreading it.
You see me in court. It's time to talk about divorce.
I'm not going to murder him.
That's the only way.
Then.
Help! Get away! He's hurting my sister! Help me!
Hello?
These kids love to cry wolf.
Think they'll give us time off for good behavior?
But when they witness murder,
You're kidding, right?
who will believe them?
It's her!
Hotel.
Wednesday. An ABC News Business Brief brought to you by Midas. Now from New York, Michael Connor.
Good evening. R.J. Reynolds won a major lawsuit today. California jurors said the tobacco company was not liable for the death of a man who smoked at least 2 packs a day for 50 years. Tobacco stocks rallied on the news, with Reynolds, Philip Morris, and American brands all advancing. There are, however, still dozens of similar lawsuits pending. Overall, it was a down day on Wall Street. The Dow posted its biggest loss in 3 weeks. Personal income rose more rapidly in November than at any time in 7 months, and personal spending rebounded after slumping in October. The federal budget deficit last month was $33 billion. Now this.
For mufflers, brakes, and shocks, more people trust Midas with their cars and trucks. Some even trust us with their homes.
Trust the Midas touch.
On New York financial markets, interest on T-bills fell, gold lost a fraction, and the dollar was slightly lower. That's Business Brief. I'm Michael Connor.
They said we'd never make it, but we did. We bought our winery back from the big corporation. And make Colony wine, you'll say, is outstanding. Wine that goes up against Paul Masson, Almonded, you name them. Have we succeeded? Tell us what you think. Try our wine and write to us here at Colony, Asti, California. We'll answer every letter. Colony is ours, but the most important opinion is yours.
Now at Federated, Sony headphones at Federated. Many to choose from at Federated, as low as $947 at Federated.
A Merry Christmas from Federated.
America's Test Pilots, this week at 4. ABC Sports Exclusive is being brought to you by Bud Light. Everything else is just a light. By Chrysler Plymouth. We're making Made in America mean something again. And by the Sperry Corporation, world leader in computer-based technology for business, industry, and government.
We're back in Anaheim, the Raiders and the Rams. The Raiders leading the Rams at halftime 6-3. We're set to get underway here in the second half. We hope you are enjoying us around the nation. Your Christmas shopping hopefully all completed. Sit back, put your feet up in front of the fire, and look forward to what I think is going to be a really hard-hitting second half. No touchdowns throughout the entire first half. Ron Brown is deep. The dangerous return man, of course, from the Rams, looking for his fourth touchdown return. This is Brown from the 12-yard line. And good running by Brown out to the 30-yard line. Never had an opportunity to break it in. A few moments ago at halftime, they retired the jersey of this man, Jack Youngblood, who for 14 years was a standout defensive end, many times a Pro Bowl participant over the years, and one of the great football players ever to play the game. You just have to think, Joe, that 5 years, certainly Canton, Ohio for Jack Youngblood.
Certainly, I had the pleasure of playing football with Jack the 1 year I was here with the Rams, and he was not only a fine football player, but certainly an inspirational leader, truly a team player.
First and 10 Rams from the 30-yard line. Dieter Brock squeezes one into David Hill. Again, defenders all around, but Brock was letter perfect to David Hill. Let's look at the first quarter stats. Rams having a very difficult time getting on track, as you can see. Time of possession equally distributed. Now we will dissolve and we'll come up with the halftime stats. Things are still troubling the Rams with their pass offense. They're in minus numbers. Dieter Brock disconnected with David Hill for 7 yards. It's second down and 3. The Rams at their own 37-yard line. Dickerson. He has the first down out over the 40 to the 42-yard line. Reggie McKenzie was there defensively for the Raiders. Both teams 11-4, and again at stake, the one thing that is important here tonight for the Raiders, an opportunity to have home field advantage throughout the playoffs. And again, as they look down the road, they very well could be colliding with the Miami Dolphins. And you don't like to do that in the Orange Bowl in Miami. First and 10 Rams. Ellard is split to the right. Good rollout by Brock. Gets the ball upfield to David Hill, and David Hill is inside the 40-yard line of the Raiders. That ball was really well hit.
Well, as we spoke of right before the half, the Rams would have to start running some play-action passes, and this is about as fine of executed play-action pass I've ever seen. He had half the team chasing Eric Dickerson on that play, and David Hill at 260 pounds found an opening and first down.
19-yard pickup. The first down is at the 39-yard line of the Raiders. Raiders leading 6-3. Dieter Brock changing off as he looks over the defense. Rifles a shot intended for Ellard. No chance for Ellard. He extended his body, but he couldn't get there.
Well, they've gone back to the passing game and started throwing it on first down, which I think is a wise move. Again, when you have a runner with the greatness of Eric Dickerson, the defense has to be playing running, especially on first down, and that's the time to throw the football. He had the receiver open that time. He just flat missed him.
Second down and 10. Dieter Brock looks it over. Former three-time MVP of the Canadian Football League. The toss to Dickerson. Rod Martin reaches in. Raiders saying that they had a loose ball. Dickerson to get a couple out of that. It'll be still long yardage. Third down and 8.
It's funny, we've been up here talking throughout the game about the Raiders not wanting to go to the Orange Bowl. Hey, two teams that can play the Raiders pretty tough is the Jets as well as New England, and of course the Raiders are going to have to go through one of those teams before they get to Miami or before Miami gets here.
Bobby Duckworth comes in, number 82, another wide receiver for the Rams. Peter Brock tried to get the ball to Duckworth. Incomplete. Brock feeling a little bit of pressure, although his offensive line had formed a good pocket for him. Well, will we see the field goal kicker or Dale Hatcher? And it'll be Dale Hatcher. Punting unit comes on for the Rams. It would have been a field goal of a temp of about 53 yards. Dale Hatcher has had a phenomenal year getting the ball out inside the 20-yard line. As a matter of fact, he's had a great year. He's on his way to the Pro Bowl. His 38-yard net average topped the league into tonight. This one is just a high, towering putt, and Hatcher looks for the coverage, and the ball is bobbled. And quickly covered by Fulton Walker. Fulton Walker had a fumble in the first half, and that one, I know, put his heart in his throat. We'll be back. The Raiders have the football. They're at their own 11-yard line. Marcus Allen still needing yardage as he has 3 rather unique goals he is ahead of him for tonight. And here comes Marcus Allen. Back inside. Maybe a yard, and that'll be all. It'll be 2nd down and 9. Tom Flores in his 7th year. First 6 years he took Raider teams to the Super Bowl. After the season of 80 in his 2nd year, defeated the Eagles in the Super Bowl 18 over Washington after the 83 season. Remarkable record for such a young coach. 3rd and 8. So they're 2nd and 8. And Hester was bobbling the ball, incomplete. Now it'll be 3rd and 8.
Well, that's the time the Rams happen to have the right defense on for the right play. Mark Wilson appeared to have all the time in the world that time, and that was because he pulled the Ram rushing line by rolling out to his right. But meantime, the Ram defense had a loose zone on, and he just couldn't find anyone open. Dokie Williams went deep. He split the seam, and he was well covered, so he tried to get it to Hester, and just too late and out of bounds. Good defensive coverage by the Rams that last play.
Marcus Allen has 59 yards rushing. He needed 84 to overtake the Atlanta Falcons' Gerald Riggs, for the NFL rushing lead tonight. 3rd down and 8. Wilson is back. Just had to throw that away, and a flag comes down. It comes down late. Green was working against Dokie Williams.
Well, Green ran into Dokie Williams, but it didn't appear as if that pass could have been caught anyway.
That's what they're discussing, I think, at the moment, whether or not that pass was even catchable. Flag did go down by one official, and immediately one of the other officials got in there and wanted to talk it over.
Wilson, you threw a horrible pass. I wouldn't come over and argue.
Would not be caught. No penalty.
So there will be no penalty, and the punting unit will come on.
Let someone else argue.
That means Ray Guy and Henry Ellard will drop for the Rams. Ellard was the NFC leader in punt returns into tonight. He's had a touchdown return this season of 80 yards against Philadelphia. He's had one in each of his 2 previous seasons of returning punts, at least one. 2 in 1 year. And Ellard is at the 45-yard line of the Rams with a lot of respect for Ray Guy. He puts up a beauty. It'll take Ellard all the way back close to his own 35. Ellard gave it a look as though it would be to the left, tried to get back to the right and a picket line and nailed at the 40-yard line. 50-yard punt by Ray Guy. 3-yard return by Ellard. We'll be back in Anaheim in just a moment. Rams of the Raiders from Anaheim. I mentioned in the first half, when you talk to the players, there wasn't really any strong feelings that they expressed. They have not been expressing that, certainly, in the media. over the past week, but I think they perhaps have got together on either team and said, let's keep this thing toned down, let's keep it quiet, let's just go out and play the very best. The fans, however, are really into it. This game's been sold out since October. On 1st and 10, Dieter Brock is back. Looking deep. Trying to get the ball to Ron Brown, and he's complaining he should be getting a flag. Lester Hayes was running stride for stride with him, along with Otis McKinney, who had dropped in and helped from the free safety position. And Lester Hayes stays down in the end zone. He appears to be hurt. Let's take a look at the replay. McKinney nearest to you, and Hayes had a good position on. He was going for the interception. I think Ron Brown got a hand in there to deflect it. And Lester Hayes is still down in the end zone, and they are looking at Lester Hayes.
That's one man they certainly cannot afford to lose in that secondary. Their two cornerbacks are two of the best in all of football, and that's why they can play such an aggressive defense with their linebackers, because they have so much confidence in their two cornerbacks.
Let's take a look at it. It's not unusual as the temperature is dropping here that you can start getting cramps in cold weather. You can get more cramps in weather like this than you can in hot weather, really. I don't know if that's his problem, but
it looked like he had hurt something with the first roll. I don't know why otherwise he would be giving us about 4 twists into the end zone.
Watching him walk, he may be getting a little Charlie horse or something.
2nd down and 10. Raiders leading the Rams 6-3. We're in the 3rd quarter. 10:39 remaining. Rams have the football at their own 40-yard line. Dickerson. Dickerson ran into Reggie McKenzie. He goes down, and a holding call is indicated against the Rams. Dickerson got back to just about the line of scrimmage, and flag is down right in the big pile-up, and it will be holding against the Rams.
Hey, Brad Van Pelt, number 91, really did a terrific job of getting penetration that time and forcing Dickerson wide.
Offense holding number 72, 10 yards, 2nd down.
Kent Hill over on the left side. Raiders give you so many looks, particularly in a passing situation. They'll move Howie Long around. They move all of their down linemen around to take advantage of whatever you might be offering them in terms of weaker personnel. You can see the holding right there, I believe.
The holding is on Van Pelt, who did get the penetration. You see Kent Hill being called for the holding penalty.
Raiders now with the 4 down linemen, and they'll just turn it loose. They're thinking nothing but pass and nothing but sack. Dieter Brock has the screen called. That was Eric Dickerson, and another flag is down. James Davis got inside the block and made the stop.
Well, Jackie Slater did a good takedown on Howie Long. Howie Long had pretty good penetration.
Rams are going to be back in the Coliseum very shortly.
They're going in reverse.
Saturday on ABC's Wide World of Sports, Olympic medalists and world champion figure skaters, including Randy Gardner, Ty Babylonia, Kitty, and Peter Carruthers, plus a special performance by Scott Hamilton and more in a professional competition at the World Challenge of Champions, plus amazing athletes at the National Handicap Ski Championships. We'll see it Saturday. Wide World of Sports, 4:30 Eastern and Pacific, 3:30 Central Time. Irv Pankey was holding there. That was the man they called. Lester Hayes back in the game, takes the slight bow.
There's no more colorful player than Lester the Molester Hayes.
3rd down, 24. Dickerson. Dickerson to the 30-yard line. O.J., he may not be hurting, but he looks like he's running very carefully.
Well, he's getting tagged a little bit, and I'm sure, you know, most runners like to carry the ball on 3rd and long situations and get that average per carry up. And the fans are booing Dieter Brock, but I'm sure Brock is telling them, hey, you're not getting hit.
And Brock is not calling the plays. Yeah. Mr. Robinson, the offensive coordinator over here with the Rams, are the people that are calling the plays, not Dieter Brock.
Hatcher's 6th punt of the night.
Come on, Jerry.
That's how you set records, running them back. You make them kick a lot. This is Colton Walker. And Walker with a good return out to the 33-yard line. He caught that ball in a crowd. 44-yard punt by Hatcher, an 8-yard return.
Nowadays, it seems everybody's comparing himself to a banker.
Could be a banner night to cap a banner season for Marcus Allen. He needs 5 total yards from scrimmage to break the NFL record set last year by Eric Dickerson. He needs 26 rushing yards to lead the NFL for 1985. Take that away from Atlanta's Gerald Riggs. And he needs 42 rushing yards to tie Walter Payton's record of 9 consecutive 100-yard games. Of course, Payton did that earlier this season. First down and 10, and there is Marcus Allen. Raiders has the ball at their own 33-yard line. Good play action by Wilson. Tried to go upfield, had to look back to Marcus Allen. There'll be a gain of a couple of yards, and that's all. It'll be second down and 8 as Gary Green was right there for the Rams.
It's hard to imagine that the Raiders can't get the ball downfield to one of their wide receivers, because they're playing Christensen and Marcus so closely on this short passing game. You would think somebody would be open at about 18 or 20-yard turn-in pattern.
You'd think it. They got the big gain of the Hester the one time. I'm surprised they haven't gone back to it.
Second down and 8, Marcus Allen once again. And pulled down at the 39-yard line by Jim Collins, who reached out from inside. But Allen will get about 4 out of that. It'll still leave the Raiders with a third down and 4.
That could have been a big game. Bruce Davis, number 79, got his man outside, and he didn't go after him. He waited for him once the guy took an outside rush. Bruce Davis, incidentally, was voted most valuable lineman by his teammates this week.
So Allen does have the record, and now everything that he can add on to that will be just a continuing record for Marcus Allen. What a tremendous year he's had. Third down and 4. Wilson, down he goes. Gary Jeter was there. And some of the anxieties are being released a little bit out there.
Well, there's not a rivalry here. These guys get along beautifully together. What the heck? What do you mean rivalry and we don't like each other?
I tell you what, it's interesting. Don Mosbar, number 72, and then Gary Jeter, 2 former USC guys, saying no love lost.
They're different generations. Fourth down. The loss is back to the 31-yard line. Ray Guy is on. Defense has dominated this football game. Henry Ellard sets up at the Rams' 27-yard line. That was off Ray's foot. Does not travel as the others have traveled tonight, and that bumped into a Raider. That would kill the ball. I think that touched the Raider first. And again, we have a flaring of temper.
Well, it looked like the ball may have hit a Ram also, but I don't think the Raiders had possession of it by the time they went out of bounds.
I agree with you, Joe.
Ben Dreith, the official, trying to calm a lot of tempers that have all of a sudden flared in Anaheim.
That's Otis McKinney, who was dropped by the Raiders earlier this year. He was picked up by Kansas City, played 3 or 4 games there. They dropped him, and he's back with the Raiders. A valuable special team player for them.
We'll look at it from the reverse angle, and I don't know for sure that what we'll see. But if that touches the Raider, it is dead right at the spot, and that's what it did. So it automatically is killed at that spot. And that's where the Rams will have a 1st and 10.
It looked like it hit, to me, it looked like it hit Charles White. But it was hard to tell a Raider was laying there also. But I know when the Raiders got control of the ball, they were out of bounds.
Hey, well, these officials, they don't make many mistakes. They call a good game for the most part. I'm sure they're right.
Here's Ben Dreith.
Qualifying foul on number 33 on the Rams for kicking. He's disqualified, number 33.
Charlie White, Heisman Award winner, played for John Robinson. Disqualified from the game for kicking. I didn't see that myself. Obviously, Ben Dreith, or one of the members of his crew, saw it. When we get around to playing football, the Rams are going to have a 1st down, and they're going to have it inside their own 30-yard line. near the 25.
Well, meantime, if there's a disqualification penalty and a personal foul or unsportsmanlike conduct penalty, why didn't they mark off the penalty?
Charlie White there is 23. I don't know whether he was kicking. He did have a hold of the face gear of the Raiders' Otis McKinney. On first down, the Rams are back. David Hill. And Hill stays on his feet to the 35-yard line. And this thing is getting a little rough down there at the moment. Somebody just reached in and ripped the ball loose from David Hill. I think it was Reggie McKenzie. There was a gain of 8. It'll be 2nd and 2, and we're going to pause 5 seconds and allow all of our stations to identify themselves.
This is Channel 7, KABC-TV, Los Angeles.
Tough, hard-hitting football game from Anaheim. The Los Angeles Rams, the Los Angeles Raiders at stake for the Raiders. Home field advantage in the playoffs. 6-3 game. The Raiders over the Rams. Hard to believe, not a touchdown scored in 2.5 quarters of play as Eric Dickerson works the right side, looking for a first down up at the 38-yard line. He does not get there. Yes, he does. They mark it up close to the first down, and they'll move the sticks. That's a scoring summary. We haven't even had a lot of threats.
Well, we said these two teams are pretty macho teams. They're accustomed to taking over games late in the football game. I think it's been uncharacteristic of the Raiders. They've been playing a pretty polite game up to now, and now I guess the real temperament and personalities of these teams are coming out.
First and 10 Rams. Flag is down, and Brock is also down. He was really hit. Reggie McKenzie. That pocket was collapsing, and Reggie McKenzie just bolted in there.
Well, I tell you, this pocket is collapsing with 3 All-Pros up there right now. 3 Pro Bowl selections starting for the Rams in the offensive line. Then this front 3 of the Raiders is mighty tough to deal with.
Offensive holding number 61. Decline the penalty. It's 2nd down.
That's Tony Slayton, the center for the Rams. He, of course, for the past couple of weeks has filled in for an injured Doug Smith, who was elected to the Pro Bowl. Doug Smith had a head injury 3 weeks ago in a game against New Orleans. 2nd down and 15. Ellard split to the right. There he is, top of your screen. Peter Brock has had little or no success getting the ball wide to his receivers. Dickerson almost popped one. Tripped up there by Jeff Barnes. Dickerson out over the 35 to the 36. It'll be 3rd down and 12.
You know, O.J., you mentioned earlier about this group of linebackers from the Rams being good tacklers. That was one of the finest one-on-one tackles I've seen in a while made by Jeff Barnes.
Well, he had good position on Eric. Eric didn't have the room that he'd like to have, but as long as they play these guys so tight, I got to think that Eric is going to break one sooner or later.
A great move by Jeff Barnes under the block and right into Dickerson with perfect form.
Absolutely right, Joe.
2 men on Howie Long, and Brock has time. Duckworth comes down with the football, and they're going to give it to him at near the 30-yard line. Mike Haynes with one-on-one with Bobby Duckworth. He has good speed. And the Rams very wisely had 2 men on Howie Long.
It's going to be interesting, Joe. It appeared as if he got one foot down, but of course the official was right there, so he's much closer than we are. It was an excellent catch by Bobby.
I'll tell you, Mike Haynes made a great play on that. He had deep help on that. He just looked into Bobby Duckworth's eyes and waited until he knew the ball was going to be there, and if it had not have been perfectly thrown, he would have picked it off.
Now, that 2nd foot was out of bounds, but Haynes got a hand on him, and maybe that's why the official gave it to him.
The first down is inside the 31-yard line of the Raiders. The Rams on the move. Ellard in motion. Dickerson to the 15-yard line, and yet another flag. Reggie McKenzie made the stop from behind. And the Rams are indicating that the penalty will be against the Raiders. Might have even been a face mask. It looked as though Dickerson's head all of a sudden spun around there as he went through a pileup. Getting a little testy down there.
5-yard face mask on a defense.
Another first down for the Rams. And there is his right foot on the ground. The ball is in his hands. No question.
Another great call by the officials.
I'll tell you, when we look at it in slow motion, you wonder, and then we see it in regular speed, you wonder how they can be right as many times as they are. They have to make that instant judgment. First down Rams. They trail by 3. Rod Martin all over Dieter Brock as he pulled away from the center.
I don't think he was expecting the ball that time, Frank. It looked like Dieter was surprised, and there was confusion in the backfield with Dickerson also.
They have done some strange things tonight, this offensive unit of the Rams. They used up 2 of their timeouts, and well, by the beginning of the second quarter, they had used up 2. They had 10 men on the field at one time. They let the 30-second clock run down, but they are right in it. There was a loss there of 4. It's second down and 14. Ellard in motion. Dickerson. Rod Martin coming from across the field from his right outside linebacking position to make the stop. Dickerson will get a couple out of that. It'll be third down and 12.
I like that call. They had Greg Townsend, once again, number 93 in the game, and they were trying to run a trap inside of him. As I said earlier, he's a designated pass rusher, and he likes to get upfield in a hurry. Played the run very well on that play.
Third and 12. Big play coming up for the Rams. Barry Redden is the setback. Tony Hunter. Another flag is down. It could have been a little pick action against Ron Brown there. He came inside. You saw him, number 89. Hunter came back out underneath him, and we may get the pick play, just like in a basketball call. Now they're going to call it pushing. Let's take a look at it from a look at the defensive secondary, a wide shot. Ron Brown is in motion there. He'll turn upfield. And I think the call will work against him. Tony Hunter coming out underneath that now. There he is, just picking the possible coverage. It would have been Jeff Barnes, and he got a couple of them, including Lester Hayes. And you wondered why Hunter was so wide open? Well, Ron Brown made a good move, but it was just a little too visible. Well, we've seen a lot of that this year. Third down and 22. Redden stays on as the setback. Duckworth in motion. Barry Redden was tripped up. Good tackle. Jeff Barnes with another fine play. And out comes Mike Lansford to attempt to tie it up. Be an attempt of about 40 yards. Lansford was hit from 52 yards out in the second quarter. He missed from 50 yards in the first quarter. This will be a 40-yard attempt. Dead solid, perfect. We're tied at 6. The Rams and the Raiders. We'll be back in Anaheim in just a moment. Time remaining in the third quarter. The Raiders and the Rams were tied at 6. Lansford is hit from 40 yards out. He's set to kick off. Sam Seal is deep along with Fulton Walker. It'll be Sam Seal, and he'll stay in the end zone. The Raiders will have the ball at their own 20-yard line. Tough night for passers. Dieter Brock is 6 of 13 for 34 yards. Rather 84 yards, and Wilson is 11 of 19 for 126 with the 1 interception.
Well, I think you have to give credit to the defenses in this case. Both the defensive lines have been putting pressure on the quarterbacks, especially the Raiders' defensive line. Mark's had a little more time to throw, but he hasn't found anyone open.
Hester split left. Doki Williams split right for the Raiders. The wide receivers. Allen. And Allen in the arms of Eckern moves out to the 27-yard line. Gain of 7. It'll be 2nd down and 3.
I would say the biggest difference in Marcus's game opposed to a guy like Eric's is once he breaks that line of scrimmage, Eric has so much explosion from the line of scrimmage to about 8 yards beyond the line of scrimmage. And in that area, Marcus is always looking to make a move while Eric is just blasting through there.
He needs 14 more yards to become the NFL's leading rusher for 1985. And he gets the first down at the 33-yard line, close to the 34. Jim Collins made the stop.
And on the other hand, I think the Raiders use Marcus Allen in a more productive manner, or certainly in more ways than the Rams are using Eric Dickerson this season. They throw the football to him. They put him in the passing game more. The Rams don't utilize Dickerson enough, in my opinion.
Allen now needs 8 yards to replace Gerald Riggs as the NFL's leading rusher this season. Raiders first down and 10, final seconds of the 3rd quarter. Marcus Allen. There's a gain of 7 as he moves to the 41-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and 4. Or 2nd down and 4, rather. Raiders might not get another play off. And they're not even going to go into the huddle. So time will run out here in the 3rd quarter. Hard-hitting football game. Not a thing of beauty in terms of offensive talent and skills that we've watched tonight. That they have really been popping each other. We'll be back in Anaheim right after this message. A lot of festivities here tonight in Anaheim. Raiders and the Rams getting it on right at the holiday season, 2 days away from Christmas. We hope you are enjoying your holiday season. We're delighted you're with us watching a hard-hitting football game. Marcus Allen, by the way, of the Raiders, as we look down at the Raiders, looking over a 2nd down and 3, needs 8 yards to become the league's leading rusher for this season. And he's very close to another Raider first down up near the 45-yard line. He will get the first down. And we'll look at the halftime statistics. As I said, it has not been a thing of beauty offensively for either ball club. But then this is a two-way game. The defenses of both teams have played well tonight.
Neither one of these teams got here with offense. They got here with their defense.
1st and 10 Raiders. Mark Wilson lost one up. And the intended receiver slipped and fouled Doki Williams, and Gary Green just couldn't overhaul it for the Rams.
You know, Juice, you say neither one of these teams got here with offense. I think you're right about that. That may be a classic indication of why these teams won't go very far in the playoffs. You better have a well-balanced team here in the NFL if you expect to win the Super Bowl playoffs or Super Bowl championship. We mentioned earlier, if Mark Wilson would get hot, he has to complete passes at a better than 48% rate to lead this Raider team to the Super Bowl.
Well, he has a 12-2 record at 48%. That is amazing. Marcus Allen. Down he goes, and that should do it for Marcus Allen. He will be the NFL rushing leader for 1985. Let's watch him again. He did it in dramatic fashion. The thing they did this year with Marcus Allen, O.J., they gave him the football more frequently.
And they adjusted some runs to Marcus. Like on that play, that was a trap play, but it was a delayed trap. In the past, Marcus would have come out of his stance running, and he would have gotten to the hole before the guard got there. On that play, he did a hesitation, gave his guards a little room to get to the hole, and he was at the correct distance behind the guard when the guard made the trap block.
You know, it's all a team effort. He's getting great blocking, but you have to focus on Marcus Allen because He has 92 rushing yards at the moment as he goes off the right side, gets inside the 40-yard line for another gain of about 4. And he's getting very close to the 100-yard mark, and that, of course, would be his 9th consecutive 100-yard game, and he would tie Walter Payton for the NFL record with 9 consecutive 100-yarders.
Of course, if he wants to break that record, it wouldn't go into the playoffs. It would pick up again with the first game next year.
He needs 3 yards, as a matter of fact, now, unofficially, to tie Walter Payton. About a yard there. But again, you know, we keep focusing on the offensive back, as perhaps it has always been in football, but you have to think of the Charlie Hannas, the Bruce Davis, the Mosbars, the Mickey Marvins, the Lawrences, all of them, Kurt Marsh. They're the ones that have contributed to a truly remarkable record for Marcus Allen. You know, they get down, they get dirty, they get ornery, they make it all happen.
And they really don't get their just due until a guy like Marcus comes along, or Eric or Walter Payton, and put the statistics that they put up on the board, and that's when people appreciate those guys up front.
3rd down and 5. Wide open. That's Tim Moffitt, the rookie from Mississippi, and the ball came loose and was covered by a very hustling Jesse Hester. He came across the field and was right there and covered the ball that was fumbled by Moffitt.
Moffitt runs downfield. It looks like he's breaking clean here as he runs by the first defender. Right now, looks like he can go on a go pattern, but he stops and turns up instead for the completion. I'm not too sure he couldn't have gone downfield for the touchdown, but it's a big gainer nevertheless, an important one.
23-yard pickup by the 3rd-round draft pick out of Mississippi. And the Raiders are inside the 15-yard line. They have a 1st down and 10. This game is tied at 6. They played through 3 quarters and into the 4th quarter without a touchdown. Ray Junkin in motion, and Marcus Allen bulls straight ahead. Down to the 12-yard line, a gain of 2, maybe 3 out of that. And he's ever so close to that 100-yard mark. Which will tie Walter Payton. He is unofficially right at 100 yards on 18 carries tonight.
Boy, they're doing some kind of battling down there in the pits right now. That offensive and defensive line.
Macho time.
2nd down. Long 8. Hawkins in the flat. Taken down by Mel Owens. Not much doing there. Maybe a yard. Owens took Hawkins right at the line of scrimmage. It'll be 3rd down and long once again for Mark Wilson.
Well, it appears both of these defenses tonight, they'll give a little bit in the middle of the field, but when they get down around their goal lines, when they have their back to their own goal line, they seem to tighten up. They just won't break.
There was actually a loss on that play of about a yard. It'll be 3rd down and long yardage.
Hey, wait a minute. Why does my name have to be up there? Why can't you just stop at Walter and Marcus?
It'll disappear quickly enough, I can tell you that. They all do. You won't have to worry about that one. We'll be back in Anaheim in just a moment. Back in Anaheim. A little more than 10 minutes remaining here in the 4th quarter. We are tied at 6, but the Raiders are threatening. They have a 3rd down at 9. The ball is at the 13-yard line of the Los Angeles Rams. Good, tough football game. It really has been. For the Rams, really nothing at stake other than bragging rights, personal pride, and there's so much of that in the world of pro football. They're going to beat Dallas here after a week off in the playoffs. For the Raiders, they look for the home field. 3rd and 9. Marcus Allen. Allen taken out of bounds there at about the 13-yard line, and we'll see Chris Barr once again.
But now that's the case again. Mark Wilson, I think, may be coming to his drop-off receiver just a hair early.